Good morning. It is a glorious November 5th. Big day for Americans today, but doesn't really matter much for us up here on the mountaintop. Sun is shining. I've got probably 8 to 9 kilowatts coming in right now. It's about 8 a.m. as I record this, and we've got had a pretty big snowstorm yesterday, and totally because we're in the mountains and you can actually see across the valley. And my camera doesn't zoom very well, but you can actually see the snow up there. That's literally where we are, in the same elevation, or approximately. And about 200 feet below us, there's very little snow, but we got it, and it's gonna melt pretty quick because it is so sunny. And one thing I do in the mornings in the wintertime when there's snow and when we've had snow is I come out early and I scrape the you can kind of see one of my solar panels behind my firewood shack there. That's facing southeast, and that shack does not shade it at all, in case you're wondering. Is I go and scrape the sun off my solar panels so that I get maximum sunlight coming in. And that one I scraped off earlier, the first one I do in order is I start on the southeast one, then I go south. And the west one actually right now still has some ice on it, but there's not enough direct sun on it to melt it, and it's not being used as much. So I just worry about the first two. Get the sun off there. I've probably got 8-9 kilowatts coming in right now with just those two panels. Then I go and I knock the snow off my greenhouses, and I can only reach so far, but I did that. I use this tool here. It's a telescoping snow thing for a roof. I just stretch it out and I go and whack the greenhouse a little bit just to make some breaks in the ice. And then as the sun starts to come up, this is going to melt very, very quick, especially when you get the sun off, get the snow off. If you don't get the snow off, then the light can't get through and warm the inside of it, which is what happens when we get direct sun. And that's why this greenhouse, orientated as it is, true south, is so important, is that at this time of year now, call it November 1st until probably end of February, this greenhouse gets full sun all day. It gets the southeast in the morning and then the southwest in the evening as it sets over behind there. But I come out here and I scrape off this greenhouse as well, because in the winter I move my chickens in here. So they're just waking up, and I just moved them in here yesterday. Oh, there they are. I just moved them in here yesterday. I basically, because it snowed so much yesterday, they've been in this coop all summer. And really, they've been in that coop since April till now. And they don't want to come out when it snows. And so they're really easy to round up. I just go in there and grab them 2 at a time, and I get them in here. And then they come in here. It's a party. They're going to finish off the whole greenhouse. So I left. Don't worry, I picked a lot of peppers. You're looking at that going, oh my God, I can't believe how much you left. I planted way more than I needed, and we ate more than we could, and we processed all that we needed to. So the chickens can enjoy the rest. These are all sweet peppers too, actually. So I got all my hots. So the chickens will eat those. And look at this, they got leftover cukes that they can munch on. These will decompose a lot quicker now because they'll freeze at night, and then they'll thaw in the morning, and that'll make them rot quicker so the chickens can come in and eat them. And so they're stoked because it is, I'm not kidding you, it's probably 15 degrees Celsius in here right now. It's minus 3 outside. And it froze last night, of course. But as soon as the sun comes out, boom, this greenhouse is warm. And that's what's convenient about the way this greenhouse is orientated. And it wasn't intentional this way. It was just all I had because of my limited topography on my property. Because this greenhouse is a straight east facing greenhouse. But it's kind of good, actually, because it just means that when the chickens are in here in the winter, they get the first light and it warms up super quick. And then they get out active. They're scratching for grubs, and I bring them their compost scraps and their feed, and they eat what's in there. So they're happy this way. But, it was just the way it had to be because of my topography. As is everything here. Like even this greenhouse here is partially in shade for just a part of the morning, and it really is only in now, so it doesn't matter so much, because that greenhouse, I don't use that as much in the winter as this one. This one is just a lot more hardcore. I do have winter crops in there. I just finished cropping out our tomatoes. The last batch I probably harvested 100 pounds, I'm not kidding you, and I had a few 100 pounds from here this year. But I still have my cold crops in there, like my carrots. I got some beets in there. I got some lettuce. I got spinach. I've got kale. And celery. And so those things are all cold tolerant, and they can stay alive in that greenhouse most of the winter. So yeah, that's kind of what things are looking like on the homestead today. We are working a lot on the house, all on the interior right now. We're not really worried about the exterior, though we might do that once we run out of other things to do on the interior. At some point I'll do a more thorough update on the house, or maybe I won't. I don't know. I kind of like keeping things private to some degree, but you know. So I got a staircase in here now, which is huge because my entire homestead, this whole thing here, or the home I should say, was designed around my chore path. And how is the way I'm going to walk out of the house daily to do the chores? Go to the chickens and go to that greenhouse and walk behind to the solar panels to scrape them off. The thing now that's so cool is now that this stairwell is done, actually I have another stairwell to do here. I don't know if we'll get it done this winter though, unfortunately. I might landscape something there temporarily so that in the winter I can just walk down it. But this whole thing was designed around, of course, my topography, what I had, which is somewhat challenging, but it's south to southeast facing, so it's kind of ideal in a way. And then that landing up behind the house is that now my chore path is all orientated around here. This is my zone 1, and I can walk into the greenhouse by going through a door on the deck, and I can walk down into the garden real quick down here. I can go behind the house to scrape off the panels. So now my traction from moving from this thing to this every morning is going to be eliminated. I'm going to eliminate walking about 500 feet, probably 30 times a day. So think about that time as you stack it, and that's how I like to think about homestead design is how do you move and exist in that space. So that's kind of the thing that I'm really excited about. But yeah, quick update. Hope you guys are having a beautiful day. And remember, whatever happens in the election doesn't really matter. You got to take control of your life and be responsible for the things that you need. Have a great day.